In the Finance Committee, we are on voting list number 6. Today is Thursday, February 15th, and our first vote is Senate Bill 106, and Nathan will lead us through.
No, we want to just do the 244 first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been corrected. We're going to do Senate Bill 244.
Yeah, this is a departmental bill that makes modifications to the Clean Indoor Air Act. Madam Chair.
And we're going to hold it. We're still working on an amendment. All right. So one less. Now, where do you want me to go?
Can I ask a question? Are we
Okay.
looking for anything about signage?
No,
Signage.
clean air?
Is it requiring every business to reprint new signs? I mean, is there anything?
We're not doing that bill today. That bill's being held.
No, there is a signage.
You're in
requirement
trouble,
there.
Senator, all the time today.
No, well, there is a signage requirement in the bill, but according to testimony, they have to do that now. They're gonna have to do it one way or another because it's gonna be in regulations. So.
Okay, so tell me where to go next. Next, we'll have Senate Bill 217. Patrick, please.
So Senate Bill 217 is a Maryland Insurance Administration departmental bill. This is a bill that we typically see every year. It's the conformity bill with federal law. And so what it does is it aligns our health insurance law with existing federal rules and regulations, in this case, including consumer protection measures under the Federal No Surprises Act. And in addition, the bill updates effective dates referenced in statute for federal regulations that relate to grandfathered plans, criteria for essential health benefits and discriminatory plan designs, and medical loss ratios. It also revises triggering events for a special enrollment period on the state marketplace and gives the Maryland Health Benefit Exchange the option to adopt expanded open enrollment periods. There is one amendment that updates a reference to certain federal regulations that provide a definition of a grandfathered plan. And so all of these changes are the result of a process that the Insurance Administration engaged in reviewing the code and looking at the federal statutes and regulations and making changes to align our state insurance law with these federal regulations.
Thank you. And so Senator Gile moved favorable, Senator Klassmeyer seconded. All in favor of Senate Bill 217. Raise your hand, please. It's a unanimous vote. Thank you.
There's one bill, Senate Bill 227, at the request of the Insurance Administration. This bill is being requested to be.
Is that the one about the dental plans? If it didn't have a dental plan, they were.
This is the one, this is the departmental bill where if there was a partial payment of premium, they would allow a grace period and prohibit cancellation. But there were some issues and they were unable to work it out and they requested.
Thank you. So I had who moved unfavorable? Somebody moved on. Oh, okay. Senator Washington moved unfavorable. Senator Klassmeyer seconded. All in favor of the unfavorable. Raise your hands, please. It's a unanimous vote. Thank you.
So next is Senate Bill 106, which alters the membership of the State Board of Social Work Examiners by authorizing the board to include at least one member who is either a licensed certified social worker or a licensed master social worker who is approved for independent practice. The bill also makes clarifying changes and removes obsolete references to the certified social worker license. So there are no amendments, no fiscal impact. There was no opposition.
Move favorable.
Senator Klassmeyer moved favorable. Senator Gile seconded. All in favor of Senate Bill 409. Senator Hershey, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have Senator Reedy, are you with us? I have a unanimous vote. Thank you.
Next is Senate Bill 220. This is a departmental bill that was on the voting list a couple of days ago. It aligns the, sorry? This bill aligns state law with federal law prohibiting the sale of tobacco to individuals under 21, authorizes the department to reallocate certain grant funds between jurisdictions within a fiscal year, shifts 220, yes, it was it was also discussed at the last voting session. There was a question at the last voting session about how funds would be reallocated. The department responded with a letter that said that it would be done on a case-by-case basis, and the department would consider if there were any specific needs in the jurisdiction that had a deficit, whether there was any current wait list for services, the urgency of the need for additional fundings, local health departments' past and current fiscal year performance measures would be considered.
Senator Ellis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question. Since I'm not a lawyer, some of these legal questions I appreciate the opportunity to ask. So on cannabis, we passed legislation which the federal government hate. I mean, they still prosecute for marijuana. And so, but we do it at a state. So in this bill, we're talking about aligning our laws with the federal laws. So what's the difference between the two? Why? I mean, is this a choice we're making, or we have to do it, or I'm not sure of the difference.
Are you specifically referring to the requirement that no one under the age of 21 can
Correct.
purchase tobacco?
Yes, and align this with the federal law, right?
So the case is now that no one under the age of 21 can legally purchase tobacco in the state of Maryland, because that federal law is the standard that retailers are held to for purposes of investigatory actions by the local departments of health. So when a retailer, if they were to sell tobacco to an individual under the age of 21 because they had a military ID, they would be in violation of the federal law and would be cited for that violation. Additionally, if there are a certain number of violations that occur within a specific period of time related to a formula, the state would be at risk of losing certain federal substance abuse grant funds. So there's currently a $33 million block grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration related to prevention and treatment. Up to 10% of that grant funding could be put in jeopardy if those sales took place. And so that would be about $3 million that would potentially be jeopardized by allowing that sale to happen.
Yeah, okay, thank you for that. So we're choosing to align with the federal statutes so we don't lose those federal funds.
Can I add?
Sure.
But retailers are not selling to people under 21, whether they're military or not. The retailers are not selling because the federal government has said they cannot sell to people under 21. So for us to have in our state law that they can is inaccurate because it's not what's being done.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Senator Hayes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was trying to look, and Nathan, there was no testimony from MACO on behalf of the counties. I don't see it. Do we have any?
Not that I'm aware of. If it's
Yeah,
not.
I guess for me, I thought the question was like, by which criteria would they use? And it sounds like the agency's response is trust us, we'll figure it out later.
Are you referring to the
The
transfer of
the
unspent funds? So there is an email from the department that specifically references the process that they would go through, and they say that unspent funds would be redirected to another local health department in need of additional funds. And then it goes on to say, if there was a situation where there was unmet need in multiple places that exceeded the amount of the additional funds that are available because of the surplus in one jurisdiction, they listed 3 criteria that they would use in determining how to reallocate those funds. And it boils down to, 1, if there is a current wait list for services in the county that needs additional funds, the urgency for the additional funding. They specifically cite needed for immediate cancer treatment. And then 3, the local health department's past and current fiscal year performance measures. Those are the 3 criteria that they listed that they would use to determine where the excess funds in one jurisdiction would be reallocated if there was a deficit in more than one jurisdiction.
So in any given year, if a local health department may not have suspended, like over the last couple of years, we benefited from a great deal of federal funds, right? And so we were able to supplement a lot of the funds that we would usually use as a state with federal funds. And so in that case, if that jurisdiction would do such a thing and not suspend their state funds, we would be leaving it up to the health department to figure out to reappropriate those funds that could be used for things. And what, I guess the other part of that is, what types of things are local jurisdictions using this funding for? I think you said cancer treatment. What other type of things are public health agencies using this money for?
Looking for the department's testimony. So the department's testimony on page 2 specifically cites allowing the funds to be more effectively used to help Marylanders in need of cancer treatment and screening. That's what the fund is used for. The program is referred to as the Local Public Health Cancer Grant. We can look to the fiscal and policy note to see if there's more background on that program.
Need a cancer screening. Now, who's providing for the local screenings? It's not the local health department themselves, is it? Or is it the hospitals in those jurisdictions?
I don't have an answer to that. On page 3, though, of the fiscal and policy note, the
Fiscal and policy.
the third section is the authority to reallocate public health cancer grants. It says under current law, as part of the local public health component of the Department of Health Cancer Prevention, Education, Screening, and Treatment Program, MDH provides and administers grants to each county. Any funds reallocated. Doesn't go into much detail about the types of things that are provided, types of services that are provided, but between the department's original testimony and then their response to how the additional funds would be reallocated, it does include things like cancer screening and cancer treatment. One thing, Senator Hayes, reading between the discussion about federal funds supplanting state use funds, the department did say in their response to the questions about the reallocation of funds that it is important to note that future funding decisions will not be affected by one-time adjustments of funding. So they,
in the case of the federal funds, it was a 3-year. I guess for me, and I apologize, I didn't get a chance to check with our local government, but I know funds are often scarce. So to just have to just say, trust me, and MDH might be taking funds away from a local jurisdiction to address something, so important to, our communities. I just find it hard to support it.
so the bill specifically references unspent funds. And so in their letter addressing the question from Senator Washington, the department did go to say that the unspent funds could, for example, be from a position that remains unfilled for that specific period. So those funds would be eligible to be reallocated, but they would not be taken away from future grants to the county. So it would not affect the county's ability to fill that position. So it's only unspent funds, and it's only the one time, and it would not affect future funding decisions.
Well, oftentimes in budgeting, at least around here and in other places, most local jurisdictions, they look at the previous year fiscal year funding as the baseline in which they fund it. So if there's a certain amount budgeted, they don't spend it and it's taken away, is that now held against that jurisdiction that because they didn't spend the funds the previous year, their baseline is whatever they were left with because they took the funds away?
So the department says that it is important to note that future funding decisions will not be affected by one-time adjustments of funding.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it.
Senator Washington.
Thank you. Because I asked the question, I just wanted to note that I'm comfortable with the answer from the department, and I'm cool to move forward.
Thank you, Senator. Any other comments or questions? Do I have a motion?
Move favorable.
Do I have a second? Senator Lamb. So motion made by Senator Klausmeyer, seconded by Senator Lamb. Can I have you have a question?
Which bill we're voting on. I'm so confused because
Senate Bill 220.
Yeah, they went from the bottom to the top, Senator, just to keep us confused. So 220. All right. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor of Senate Bill 220. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Senate Bill 220 favorable. Madam Vice Chair.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Kramer.
yes.
Yes. Senator Hayes.
No.
No. Senator Reedy.
No.
No. Senator Ellis.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Mounts. No. Senator Washington.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Guile.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Lamb.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Hershey.
No.
No. Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yes.
Next,
7-4.
Four.
Bill passes. Thank you.
the next bill, and I believe the last bill on the list is Senate Bill 409, which requires the State Board of Professional Counselors and Therapists to waive the education, experience, and examination requirements for licensure as a clinical marriage and family therapist for an applicant that is licensed or certified to practice in another state, territory, or jurisdiction if specified requirements, primarily requirements related to a lack of any disciplinary history or character and fitness issues are met. The board may not require the applicant to pass a national certification exam, but may require the applicant to pass an examination of state law requirements. There are no amendments and no fiscal impact.
Second. I have a favorable on Senate Bill 409. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So Senator Klausmeyer's favorable, Senator Giles second. Can we take a vote on Senate Bill 409? All in favor? What are we doing? Okay, you need to do a roll call, please.
Senate Bill 409 favorable. Vice Chair Klausmeyer.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Kramer.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Hayes.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Reedy.
No.
No. Senator Ellis. Yes. Senator Mounts.
No.
No. Senator Washington.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Guile.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Lamb.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Hershey. No. Madam Chair.
Yes,
Yes.
8-3, bill passes. Thank you. All right, that was our last bill for the day. I will see you all tomorrow.
Well, we'll see each other maybe.
Well,